and they will. They'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Did you know that if you
Let me
follow
infiltrate the
Harvey
beat.
Jones-
Concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers. Then I hit my quota, and my train of thought is more a locomotive. Talking reason for it, I got locomotive. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit. I was powerful, but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist. Try not to change, but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up, they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exists. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature a rack. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view, there's some window pain. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick be. Here's some truth that I'll let free. Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green. I'm about to go green.
Yo, shout out to everybody. I'm about to go green up in this piece. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I know you could be anywhere else today, but you're here with me. I appreciate it. Those of you who are watching, we got about 100 people watching on TikTok. Hey, I don't take questions or comments from TikTok. It is time for the show. If you got a question about the Big 10, you know where to go. You come join the live stream. Go to YouTube. We'll be in here. We're going to be rolling deep. I got hundreds of questions to answer, tons of people to talk to. But before I jump into that, you guys know I always go over what's trending, what's the topic for the day, and then I ask your question or I answer your questions. Remember, it's the Big 10. Stay focused. Don't be talking about anything else. Shout out to everybody who's chanting the name. Rico Knows. We're a movement. Somebody's going to find out about us someday. But until they do, we'll be the only ones who actually know, right? So shout out to all the haters. You guys bought us some steak. What did we eat today, sweetie? We went to a Mexican restaurant today. Hey, all my haters, you bought us lunch. I had chilaquiles mexicanos, and my girl had a nice shrimp and steak burrito. It's not a metaphor for anything. She's just out there having a great meal. I actually helped her eat half of it. And then Kim enjoyed the day at the gym, and I enjoyed my day of looking at sports, watching film, doing my research that I do all day. And that's the life. That's the life of two people who run a sports channel. Shout out to us. But here we are. Who saw this coming? Who saw this coming? Who saw Duke beating Clemson 28-7? Well, I don't know about the score, but I have countless videos telling you guys Duke was going to beat Clemson. Countless. Shout out to Ash. She's made her appearance. If you hear squeaking in the background, that's my baby girl chewing on a toy. But back to it. I told you guys, Duke is great. I went in depth on this all day yesterday. I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 months. It all started last season when I saw Riley Leonard light up UCF in the bowl game. You guys came in here and said, hey, what is he going to rush for? I said, I don't know. I don't look at stat. I don't look at spreads. I don't look at prop bets. I don't even have an app like that. I don't do any of that stuff. Then somebody threw it in the chat. Rico, Riley Leonard, 30 yards rushing, over, under. I said, what? That man led that whole team in rushing. What are you talking about? It's because the idiots in Las Vegas or on any of these apps really thought Clemson was going to sack this man over and over and over so he'd have negative rushing yards. Bro, what are you doing? He is not Spencer Rattler. He's not Spencer Rattler. So all of you guys out there went out there and said, Rico, you made me so much money. Rico, thank you so much. You did this for us. You made it possible. You got me this. You got me that. Oh, my God, Rico, you called Colorado and Duke on the same weekend. Bro, I did a lot more than that. I'm at 77% against the spread. 77% against the spread. This is unheard of. They tell me professional gamblers are at 56%. Some guys can get to 60 for a while. Listen to me. I'm better than all of them because I'm not a gambler. I'm a damn analyst. So for the last 20 years, I've been a cyber analyst for the United States government. I work for three-letter agencies like the NSA. What do you think, what intellect level am I going to have when I go and apply myself to something I love, something I'm actually infatuated with, something I'm immersed in and addicted to? I know every player. I just posted 2 high school film reviews of players, meaning I watched every play of their high school huddle tape. So when they get to college and you don't know who the hell they are, I can tell you what they did in high school. So when I got to compare 2 players and decide who's better, I can make a better assessment because I've known that kid for the last 5 years, not 5 minutes when I went to go look at a box score and looked at some tendencies. But Rico, Clemson hasn't lost a season opener only to Georgia. In the last 16 years, they've only lost season openers to Georgia. What are you talking about? I don't give a shit about your tendencies, your records, none of your stuff. All I know is everything. What I know is how to win some money. And I'm glad you guys won. Shout out to you guys. I'm winning every day. I stay winning. We got haters everywhere, and they're on the wrong side of history. But check out the game. You guys see it. Will Shipley rushed for 114 yards. Oh, my God, Clemson had more total yards. Yeah, they ran about 20 extra plays. It doesn't matter. There's Riley Leonard leading the team in rushing again. 8 carries, 98 yards, and a touchdown. What fools, bro. Absolutely embarrassing that they had the nerve to say Riley Leonard wouldn't do it. That's crazy. Ain't worried about a damn thing. Congrats to all of you. Shout out to me. Now, when the football season began, everybody's 100%. It's been 1 week, and unfortunately, injuries occur. So the first big injury has happened. Mohamed Kaba here, he is done. Injured for the season. This is a starting linebacker for South Carolina. What I want to tell you about Kaba is I feel bad for him, man. You know, in the 2020 season, he only played in 4 games because they wanted to keep his red shirt. And they shouldn't have done that, but they did it anyways. He only played in 4 games, and then they let him keep his red shirt. He didn't know that they were going to allow everybody to play the full season and not count eligibility for everyone. So that's what happened there. So then he has that year doesn't count, but he only played in 4 games. Then in 2021, he played in every game. You go to 2022, he blew out his right knee last year. Right or left knee, one of the two. And he missed the whole season. Then he comes back, first game of this season, he blows out the other knee. So he blew out a right knee one year and a left knee the other year, or vice versa. I'm mixing them up right now. But the reality of the situation is this man might get a medical red shirt again. Kaba, I feel terrible for the young man. They say he's a junior, but guys got to understand, he's only used 1 year of his eligibility. He's got 3 years left. It just doesn't work out, man. It hurts my heart when I see guys go down like this for the whole season in week 1. 5 solo tackles last season, and then he was done. It sucks. Speaking of sucks, there's this Oklahoma quote-unquote wide receiver. Back when he was coming out, this is DJ Graham, by the way, DJ Graham II. When he was coming out of high school, he was a 3-star player. But Lincoln Riley was getting these 3-star kids who were just phenomenal athletes. And he got so many great wide receivers. Mario Williams, all these Theo Weiss, all these different guys at Oklahoma that could really go out there and tear it up on the offensive side of the ball. So they had this 3-star kid at practice, DJ Graham, and they said, hey, man, you're so damn dynamic and athletic. Let's move you to corner. And if you guys ever watch Oklahoma in their secondary, you say, how can they have NFL caliber wide receivers? And how can they have these great skill position players, but somehow their defensive backs aren't any good? It's because they weren't recruiting defensive backs. What were they doing? They were just getting as many great wide receivers as they could and then their 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th string wide receiver, they would go, hey, you, move to DB. Go try to tackle something. And they were never really good at it. So this is DJ Graham. He wasn't very good at corner. And they go and hire Venables. Venables comes in, looks around the roster, says, yo, Graham, go back to receiver. So he goes back to receiver. And that's where he's at now. And unfortunately for him, he has surgery today. Now, there are no details on this surgery, how long he's going to be out. But having surgery after week 1 is not ideal. I would imagine Coach would say something, but he had his press conference today. I peeped in on it, did not see it. I would play this clip here for you guys so you can see one of his amazing plays because he has an amazing play. One time he had a great interception. He's got hands. He's a DB with hands, but he can't tackle well. So, unfortunately for him, he is injured. Sucks for Oklahoma. But he's not part of the 2 deep. He's just one of these rotational guys. Never really got in the swing of things. But, yeah, man, injuries are terrible. Let's go after it. Hey, you know what? Before I do this, I want to talk about this. I made a video on this today, but I just want to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about here. We got about 260 people watching right now. If you're on TikTok and you got questions about sports and you want to watch, take part in what I'm showing on the screen, all you have to do, go to YouTube, click up here, join the link, go to YouTube, join the page, Rico Knows, find me on the live tab, and you can see the chat. You can ask me questions and interact with me. We got about 120 people over here as well. So we got you guys over here. We got them over here. The only difference is I don't talk to any of you, read any of your comments. I don't get paid by TikTok for my live stream. I'm getting a phone call. Got to hang up on that phone call. So I'll answer everybody else. Now look at this deal, guys. This hurts my soul. We're going to hear about these more often because these kids are trying to get rich and get their money. Lawsuit reveals Javon Dexter. I said Gervin because I was thinking about somebody in high school, Caleb Gervin. But Javon Dexter entered a $436,000 NIL deal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Florida defensive lineman Javon Dexter, he's a big boy. He's a second-round draft pick. He went out and signed a $436K NIL deal. That's awesome. You get $436,000 in college, you had to be ecstatic about that money. But there was some strings attached to this money. The man signs the deal, and the money said, you owe us 15% of your pre-tax NFL money for the next 15 years. 15 years pre-tax money, guys. That means if you sign for let's say you get a $20 million deal, you owe these guys, what? $3.5 million. $3 million. What are we doing? That's nuts. I could understand if we give you $400,000, you owe us $600,000. If we give you $400,000, you owe us $800,000. I can do that. But 15% of your pre-tax NFL money. I did this math in front of everybody on a video today. But listen, you cannot go out and give your pre-tax money. You don't even get that kind of money. If you sign a deal for $10 million, you owe these guys $1.5 million. The government's going to take 37%. You're getting $63 to begin with. You're getting $63 to begin with. You get $10 million. You sign a contract for $10 million. You're getting $6.3 million. Your agent's going to get something out of that. I think it's 3%. So 3%, 10% is $1 million. So 3%, $300,000. So let's get rid of that. You're down to $6 million, bro. $6 million. And these guys get 1.5 of that? Whoo. All because they gave you $400,000? It doesn't make sense, right? Let me tell you guys something. People get flossed like this every single day. Every single day, people get flossed like this. I'm a senior leader in the Army. I've been a first sergeant for the last 3 years. I can remember as a first sergeant, you take care of all your people. I have about 100 and something people that work for me. And I can remember one day I'm in my office, and the knock on the door was one of my sergeant's first class, one of my E7s. He says, hey, Top, I need to talk to you. I said, what's going on? He goes, hey, we got a problem. Brings in the soldier. Young kid. I want to say she was, she had to be 19 years old. Joined the Army, PFC. She's 19 years old, and she just bought a car. Well, what did she buy, guys? What did she buy? She bought a Tiburon. Do you guys even know what a Tiburon is? Does anybody know what a Tiburon is? This girl bought a Tiburon from a used car dealership because she wanted to save money. She wanted to keep it light. So she got a used Tiburon. And her APR was a 19.6 APR. The dude talked her into it, said, listen, no money down. You get this car, no, you qualify. You have great credit. No money down. Tiburon. Say what? This poor girl. This poor girl was paying, with her insurance, was paying $905 a month on her car and her insurance. Yeah. $905. She was broke out of her mind. And we were trying to get her in touch with some resources, do some financing. Hey, Top, what can you do? Can you get her an AER loan? I can do things as a first start, and I can help her. But here's what I really did. I went down to the car dealership. And I wanted to know their ethics and their practices. I wanted to know, where are your contracts? What do you say to get these people to sign these things? And the guy didn't want to talk to me unless I was interested in buying a car. And I'm telling you right now, I got the guy's name. I got the company's name. They sold used cars. I went straight to Garrison. I went to Garrison on base. And now I'm a first sergeant. I go up to the command sergeant major of the installation, and I say, hey, I got to talk to you. He said, what do we got to talk about, Top? I said, listen, here's the problem. We put that car dealership on the blacklist. We got that car dealership blacklisted. They couldn't sell cars to soldiers because we made that car dealership off limits to soldiers. They were out of business in 3 months. They went bankrupt. That car dealership no longer exists today. We put them out of business in 3 months. Now, she still had a bill. There's nothing I can do about it. She still had a bill. She was still paying out of her mind for the next 60 months. But they are no longer in business. Gone. So, shout out to Florida. Figure out how to shut these jokers down. Whoever fleeced your boy Javon Dexter here. Now, I know the company. Okay, they're called Pay It Forward or some advance. Right here, Big League Advance Fund. I read the whole story. But they need to shut these boys down. They need to find out who these guys are, put them on the list, and make sure they never get another deal with these athletes. As a senior leader, I can't let that shit slide, bro. As an executive level leader, I'll crush you every time. That's real. This story pissed me off. Taking advantage of kids, bro. Check this shit out. Look at these polls. These polls are gross. We're looking at the AP poll. It just came out today. And the coaches poll. And when you look at these polls, you can see first place votes. Shout out to the people courageous. The AP poll knows what they're doing. Just so you guys are aware. The AP poll, I trust it more because journalists aren't nearly as biased as coaches. These coaches are loyal to one another. They're loyal to their assistants who are now head coaches at other programs. These coaches do not care about the truth. They have the nerve to vote certain teams in certain ways. It's gross. But check out the AP poll. Florida State, 3 first place votes. You're damn right. They have the most impressive wins so far. Shout out to Florida State. They look great. They look like they have no weak points. An amazing defensive line. A good secondary. Their offense is unrivaled by anybody. I don't see anybody with a better offense. Shout out to USC. But when you watch this and you look at this poll, you should be very concerned that somebody out there still put South Carolina in their poll. Or Texas Tech in their top 25. Texas Tech lost to Wyoming, bro. Why are they in somebody's top 25? Shout out to Colorado for making the top 25 after 1 week. But why? Who? How? What? I hate saying who. Who? I'm not a fucking owl. Who? What is going on here? TCU, 27 points. Apparently Colorado beat a top 25 team because they're still getting votes. The worst poll, though, is this coach's poll. This coach's poll is criminal, bro. Criminal. Do you see how many SEC teams got votes? They still vote for people from the SEC. They're still putting them in. Check out the Pac-12 with their ranked teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ranked teams from the Pac-12. 6. And you got the SEC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The nerve of these guys. They got to get these 6 in. Do they deserve it? Well, these coaches, they're getting ready. Just in case those 6 lose at any point, they got Kentucky right here. They got Auburn right here. Arkansas right here. Missouri right here. Like, they voted for the whole conference. They literally voted for the whole conference. They didn't even care. They got South Carolina right here. Gave up 9 sacks. They got them votes. This is the propaganda they've been feeding to these young kids their whole lives, bro. There are kids growing up, and they don't know any better. They can't do the analysis. They haven't done they're signing those NIL deals. They don't even understand what's happening here. This is propaganda. This is in preparation for your teams in the polls to lose. So when A&M loses next week, there'll be an SEC team. Kentucky will enter the top 25. We got to make sure there's 6 teams ranked from that conference, while the Pac-12 has to earn it. Like, they literally have to earn it. There's nobody over here posturing. UCLA's getting shit on. It's crazy. I've never seen such voting, bro. And whoever the hell voted for UTSA after their 3-interception performance against Houston, I'll never understand you. Whoever you are voting for Texas Tech and UTSA, you're gross. There's somebody out there. Yeah, there is. Here's an AP poll. Brett McMurphy released his poll and let everybody know he put this poll together. Who's not in the poll? Number 1, Brett McMurphy. You didn't put Colorado in your poll. So what are we even talking about? You put Auburn in the poll. This is why they're getting votes. Auburn's in his top 25. What are we doing? Check out how high he has Ole Miss. 16. He's got UCLA in there, though. I don't know what he's doing. He's got USC at 11. Brett McMurphy has USC at 11. Go explain that shit to me, bro. There's 10 better teams than USC. These guys are gross. This guy right here, Brett McMurphy, he holds his nose to jump into the pool, bro. I promise you. This dude pisses sitting down. He pisses sitting down, and he sits on that toilet seat backwards. I'm letting you know. He likes to straddle that thing. Get out of here, bro. All right, today's theme is the Big 10. Today's theme is the Big 10. Let's go. Firstly, Minnesota went out and did their thing, but they looked atrocious. They should be concerned. Nebraska and Minnesota had great defense that game, but Minnesota's offense was anemic. We can explain Nebraska's offense real simple. 3 interceptions. Jeff Sims threw it 3 times off his back foot. Terrible decisions, interceptions. But Athan Kaliakmanis, not where it needed to be. This is your first time starting. Tanner Morgan's finally gone, and this is your chance to get the reins. You don't get it done, as far as I'm concerned. Daniel Jackson makes an incredible catch, dragging his foot in the end zone. They win the game, but they didn't look good doing it. A win's a win. I get it. Not exciting stuff. Michigan State, they beat Central Michigan. What I can tell you is Nathan Carter is looking nice. That's a UConn transfer, over 100 yards on 10 carries. Really impressive. The fact that Michigan State lost Keon Coleman, lost Jalen Reed to the NFL draft, you knew the cupboard was going to be bare, but Nathan Carter looks good. And the defense for Michigan State, yeah, it's pretty dominant. It hits pretty hard. Central Michigan was respectable, though. I felt they were good. I feel like Central Michigan is a dark horse in the MAC. Obviously, Toledo's the favorite, but they're a dark horse. Then you got Michigan. Everybody's up in arms at me about Michigan. You know, Ernest Hausman led them in tackles this game. I went back and watched the tape, and I see Michigan doing everything they wanted to do, with the exception of who's the backup running back? The kid who's supposed to be averaging 7-8 yards a carry. Everybody tells me he's so great. Yeah, 3 yards a carry, bro. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. East Carolina's retooling, revamping. East Carolina lost Holton Ahlers to the NFL. They lost Keaton Mitchell to the NFL. Their top 2 leading receivers to the NFL. Like, East Carolina lost everybody, and I don't feel like Michigan really dominated the way they should have. Rico, it's 30-3. Yeah, it should have been 50-0. If you're the number 1 team in the country, you're getting first place votes, it should have been 50-0. Serious. Indiana, Ohio State. Had to go back and watch the game again while everybody's up in arms. Yeah, McCord looked bad. Made a couple poor decisions, but my goodness. Travion Henderson, this guy used to be an incredible running back, and he just falls over. Touch him, he falls. They got 3 other great running backs. He just falls every time they touch him. No yards after contact. I don't think he has an NFL future, and he's fast. At least he used to be. I'm just disappointed in him. I don't have Ohio State. I think I put him 7th in my poll. I think that they're going to struggle against teams that they should be dominating or beating. And Indiana didn't look terrible. Indiana did not look terrible, which is saying something. But when your leading receiver is Cade Stover, your tight end, that's bad news for you. If you are, supposed to have the number 1 receiving core in America, Rico, who's got the best receiving core in America? Who's got a better receiving core, Rico? The Cardinals or Ohio State? Shut up. Cade Stover wouldn't lead the Cardinals in receiving. Penn State, West Virginia, very impressed with Drew Allar's game. I've told you guys many times I don't believe in Drew Aller. I still don't believe in his receiving core. He had 3 different receivers that looked pretty sharp, and none of them were Dante Cephas like I told you they would be. But shout out to him, man. Drew Aller played great. West Virginia is not a cakewalk. I know everybody hates Neil Brown, but Neil Brown did really well in the spring portal, and part of what he did in the spring portal was get quality defensive backs from the transfer portal. So you know that they're supposed to be able to stop the pass, and it didn't happen. Shout out to Penn State. They look dominant. Are they better than Ohio State? I bet they can beat Ohio State. I bet Penn State can beat Ohio State. Mark my words. I'm not saying they're going to, but I think they can. Buffalo at Wisconsin. Now, this game was not as close as it looks, 38-17. Buffalo's a respectable team. Remember, Buffalo plays in the MAC. They have a really good linebacker. They have 2 of them really good. But they have really good linebacker play. They can do what they need to do. Ches, it says here he's the leading rusher. He broke for a long run. If you guys don't know Ches, he's a Clemson transfer. But the real starter there is Braylon Allen. He's a beast of a man, 140 yards rushing. And Braylon Allen's going to carry this team as far as he can. I was a little disappointed in Tanner Mordecai throwing 2 interceptions. It happens, but it shouldn't have happened. Will Pauling, transfer from Cincinnati, came down with Luke Fickell. He looked good. He always looks good. He actually looks good in practice. Watched him a lot. I knew Iowa wasn't going to cover the spread. Talked about it. Shout out to Iowa. Their offense still sucks. They got upgrades everywhere, and they still can't get it done. Brian Ferentz, just go home, guys. All you guys go home. Purdue, I'm disappointed in. They were winning this game against Fresno State. Shout out to Ryan Walters. First game as a head coach. You're trying your best. You got Hudson Card. You're doing your thing. And then, oh, boy. Then Fresno State goes on fire. Mikey Keene is it. Mikey Keene, the UCF transfer. I told everybody this all offseason. I believe in that little dude. Eric Brooks, speaking of little dudes, Eric Brooks, 5'7", wide receiver, tore it up. And then Elijah Gilliam doing his thing as a running back for Fresno State. Maryland is a team that I think is a dark horse in the Big 10. I like Maryland a lot. And Maryland put it on Towson. It was never in doubt. I think they were up 21-0 at the first quarter. Never had to look back. Anytime you score 21 points in the first quarter of a new season, you got to be feeling pretty good because everything you did at practice hit on all cylinders. And Illinois gets it done. Illinois beats Toledo. Now, listen to me. I told you guys Toledo's going to cover this spread. I believe in Toledo, but the reason is I don't believe in Illinois. I don't think Illinois is a very good football team. They won the game 30-28, but I'm telling you, when I look at Illinois and I watch them, I'm not impressed with what they're doing. New defensive coordinator, new defensive back coach, new running back, new DBs, new everything. It just doesn't seem like they're it. So I don't believe in Illinois. They still won the game. Shout out to them. Rutgers, I believe in, man. I believe in Greg Schiano. Kirk Soraka, the offense coordinator, he's back. That's the guy who used to run them when they were in their Kenny Britt days. Tom Savage, Brian Leonard, Ray Rice, Taekwon Underwood, Mohamed Sanu. All those great players from Rutgers were under Kirk Soraka. He knows how to recruit, knows how to develop, knows how to win. And now that he's back, they're playing great. I love the way they dominated Northwestern. It was not that close. 24-7. It was even further than that apart. But Rutgers has a problem at quarterback. Gavin Wimsatt is a 4-star kid. He's athletic. He cannot throw the football. He will just throw random incompletions and be off target all the time. So it happens. It is what it is. Now let's see their Week 2 matchups. Week 2 matchups for the Big 10. You've got the Sycamores of Indiana State going over to Indiana. I actually like Indiana State, but they're not winning this game. Indiana's going to beat them. Good for them. Illinois at Kansas. I don't feel good about Illinois at Kansas. I like Kansas to do this at home. Kansas is a good football team. They upgraded their talent. They're on the right trajectory going like this. Now, could I miss? It happens. I doubt it. It happens, but I doubt it. Give me Kansas to beat Illinois. I don't even know the spread. I don't check stuff like that. I'm just telling you, I think Kansas wins this game. We'll double-check spreads on Saturday, but right now that's how I feel. Youngstown State at Ohio State, ignore that game. Delaware at Penn State, ignore it. Nebraska at Colorado, I feel really good about Colorado winning. I think they can just score against anybody. They're a matchup nightmare. They're going to be up at elevation. And if you heard Matt Rule's press conference, Matt Rule talks about it can't be about tempo. It can't be about elevation. What he's really saying is he's trying to take those things out of the equation. So he's going to slow the play down. They're going to be real methodical, huddle after every play, get as much rest as possible, which is fine. But what Nebraska doesn't understand is they didn't execute on offense. You can try that strategy, but it is about tempo. It is about rhythm. It is about those things that you didn't do well. So, and then he caught himself in the press conference towards the end of his clip, if you watch it. He says, we just need to be doing the things we've been doing all, and then he stopped because he meant to say all season, but he couldn't say all season because they didn't do anything in their first game. And then he goes, all training camp. And it's just like, all right, bro. You don't understand what you're talking about. Colorado's defense is not going to fix itself. They're not going to magically find better defensive players. They're not. Chad Kelly is not the greatest defensive coordinator in the world. I've told you guys this all off season. I never believed in him after watching him at Florida State for countless years, fumbling away one of the greatest defenses, top 10 defenses out there. You know, guys, just NFL players everywhere on that roster, and he got them to be a top 50 defense. I've never seen somebody do less with more in my life. Shout out to Jimbo Fisher. But when I look at it from that perspective, I was hoping Kelly learned something from Nick Saban for the last couple of years. I still don't see that. So I think Colorado's defense just won't get it done in that regard. But they'll be good enough to cause some turnovers, to be competitive, and to keep their offense off the field for a few so they can get some rest and then go and do it again. Shout out to Travis Hunter for not taking a rest. But I think Colorado wins games because they outscore people. I don't care about anything else. It reminds me of Tennessee last year. It reminds me of USC last year. And guess what? That's good enough to win games. I got no beef with it. To pretend like Colorado's got a complete team right now is not it. I don't live in that world. But I do think that they have an offense that can outscore anybody. So let's go. Pound for pound, let's swing it out. Let's get it done. So you score, we score. You score, we score. And who's going to get tired first? Who's going to run out of bullets first? I think Colorado has too many weapons. I look at Nebraska. I know their receiving core. I know their skill position players, and they're not it. They're not it. They got Gabe Ervin as a running back who I believe in, and he's the backup running back. Anthony Grant doesn't move me as a running back, but, you know, Jeff Sims can get loose. He can get on the edge and run the rock, but I hope to goodness he throws it a few times, and you'll see what happens. That thing will get picked off. I do think that Shiloh Sanders played bad. I know he led the team in tackles. That doesn't move me. Anytime you have a safety leading the team in tackles, that's not it. Had some missed tackles. I don't like the play of Shiloh Sanders, to be honest. But I'm still taking Colorado to win that game. I really am. I think they just have more offensive firepower. Nebraska doesn't know what to do. Nebraska's not going to score 30 points in a game for a while. Just letting you know. And if they do, it'll be against Colorado, but I don't see it. Purdue at Virginia Tech. I look at it like this. I don't know the spread of these games or anything, but I think Purdue's probably pretty heartbroken that Mikey Keene went ham on them. So you got to ask yourself, is Virginia Tech better than Fresno State? I don't know. But I can tell you that Virginia Tech has equivalent wide receivers. Virginia Tech has great wide receivers. And one thing they did, Purdue hired their corners coach. I want to say his name is Carter. They hired him from Ole Miss. He came over from Ole Miss. And Carter's got his hands full trying to stop the pass. Virginia Tech has receivers. Jalen Lane, Allie Jennings, DeQuan Felton. Like, these three guys just hit the transfer portal, just showed up. They were leading wide receivers at their previous schools. Those three guys I just named led their previous teams in receiving. And they're all on the same team now. So when Grant Wells drops back to pass, he's got options, bro. These guys are open. These alpha males are there. They're ready for the taking. And I don't think Purdue matches up well on that perspective. But Purdue can score. They put up 35 points on Fresno State. They can score. So that game's a little scary. I think I would take the over on that game. I really do. I think I would take the over. I don't know what it is, but I'd imagine both those teams are going to score. UNLV at Michigan. It'll be a boring game. I think UNLV is very improved. Shout out to Barry Odom, their new head coach, former Arkansas head coach, and he's now coaching at the UNLV level in the MAC, in the Mountain West. I'm very curious what's going on at UNLV. That intrigues me more than anything. You guys can talk about Michigan and Georgia and Bama and all those teams. I don't even get excited about those teams. Everybody talks about those teams. I want to know about UNLV because they had a different quarterback this week than I'm used to seeing. Brumfeld wasn't on the field. They have recruits that I think are very good and under the radar. They got an amazing receiver in Ricky White, the transfer from Michigan State. They just have a nice team. I like to watch them. So we'll see what happens. Excuse me. Iowa at Iowa State. Give me Iowa to beat Iowa State. I think Iowa State's a shell of themselves. I think Iowa's tough enough to get it done on the road. Iowa State's not it, bro. They're missing their leading rusher for the season. He's off the team. They're missing a number of guys, and they've been distracted for a while. Iowa's got a lot of pride. And good luck trying to score on Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson's an amazing linebacker for Iowa. The transfer from Virginia, he's had over 100 tackles for the last 3 years. I really like where Iowa's at for this game. So I don't know what the over-under is or anything like that. I haven't looked at it. It'll be interesting. I want to see what Richmond can do against Michigan State. It'll be an interesting matchup. I got to see it. We'll see. UTEP and Northwestern. I don't know the spread on these things, but my goodness, Northwestern, you better win this game big or it's embarrassing. I like UTEP's team, though. I really do like UTEP. I like UTEP to beat Jacksonville State, and they lost. Their coach messed it all up, but whatever. I got Wisconsin dominating Washington State. And I know that's crazy because Washington State has Cam Ward, and he can do all these things. I just hope Wisconsin dominates this game. For my own sake, I want Wisconsin to win 11 games this year. For my own sake, okay? So, Charlotte, it'll be nice for Biff Poggi to go up to Maryland, a nice recruiting trip to see his old team, his own stopping grounds, where he's going to recruit from, things of that nature. But Maryland's got too much for Charlotte. Congratulations to Charlotte for winning their season opener. That's as many wins as they had last year, but it stops there. Eastern Michigan's a good football team, guys. Eastern Michigan's a good football team, and Minnesota's got a great defense. But I think Eastern Michigan's a good football team. I'm curious about this matchup. I'm going to be looking for prop bets in some of these games. I haven't done any research on them, but get excited about Eastern Michigan versus Minnesota. Minnesota should win by 30. Watch them not. And then Rutgers and Temple. Good luck. You got Temple. Their starting quarterback, Kurt Warner's son, E.J. Warner, puts up about 300 yards a game passing. Temple can't really stop anyone. Hopefully Rutgers keeps doing what they're doing. They got a great receiver core, and you know, they got a good defense. These are all great matchups for me, guys. I'm very interested. I'm not giving any advice on gambling. What I'm telling you is the matchups intrigue me. I'm excited for them. Why I'm excited for them. But as I get closer to Saturday and actually sit down and analyze spreads, props, things of that nature, I'll give you guys a few selections in this. But today, as of right now, I don't want to give you guys anything outside of telling you that I believe Kansas will beat Illinois. I don't care what the spread is. I believe Purdue and Virginia Tech will probably hit the over. I don't know what the number is. Take Colorado over Nebraska right now off the top of my head. Take Iowa over Iowa State. Take Wisconsin over Washington State. I feel good about these selections. So the rest of them, I'm going to have to look for props and other things like that. All right, guys. So now we're done talking about the matchups. Now it's over to your guys' questions. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Let's go. If you're on TikTok and you're watching us, shout out to the 250 people watching us. If you want to ask me questions about the Big 10, we got about an hour and 20 minutes left. You got to jump over to YouTube, drop it in the chat, and I will answer the questions for you. You guys are asking all these questions. I do not read the chat down here. Go up here, join the channel, go to YouTube, join the live stream, and ask the questions. Before you jump in, hit the like button, please. All right. Shout out to the tips. I'll go straight to the tips first. Kim, hit me up. Leave this baldo, and let's get sticky. Shout out to Subtle Chip. Somebody wants you to leave me because I'm going bald. Let's get sticky. What up, Kim? Kim, can you do that for $5? No. Kim ain't going nowhere, y'all. I ain't worried about it. Hey, but if you want to buy her something nice, do it. Do it. Connor says, first, love the show. What up, Connor? Connor beat Willie Bobo. That's crazy. Connor is loyal to the show. He's been here from the jump. I appreciate you, Connor. You make my life possible, brother. How many teams have had 3 players at the same time listed as candidates for the Heisman Award? Good day, sir. Boss Omar, I haven't really looked into it, but I'd imagine there's a fair amount of teams. I can remember specifically Lindell White, Reggie Bush, and Matt Leinart. I can remember specifically about 4 or 5 teams with Heisman Trophy finalists. I want to say one year Alabama had all the finalists. Recently, like fairly recently, Alabama had all the finalists. What was it, 2017? When Devontae Smith won? Yeah, go look at those votes for the Heisman. It happens everywhere. And there's nobody as a candidate for the Heisman until about week 8, if we're being honest. You got to be undefeated and on a winning team to even be considered for the Heisman. Us Group of 5 fans would love it if a day of Group of 5. Paul Sumner, Group of 5 day is Sunday. I talked about it. It's on the schedule. It's pinned on my YouTube. It's pinned on my TikTok. We talk about it all the time. I talk about Group of 5 every Sunday. Wish you were here. Talked about every single conference on Sunday. Go back and watch it. Paul Sumner, thanks for being here. I know Power 5 conferences get more clicks. I don't give a shit about clicks, bro. I just spent 5 minutes telling you why I'm excited about some Group of 5 school. But as a Western Kentucky fan, I'd love to hear what you have to say about them. Love your content and your ball knowledge. So, Paul Sumner, what I would recommend you do is do a hashtag WKU space hashtag Rico Knows and search TikTok. Go to TikTok and search WKU and then hashtag Rico Knows. I guarantee you I've made about 20 videos on Western Kentucky. I constantly talk about Western Kentucky. Shout out to Austin Reed and, everybody. Like, shout out to Clay Helton and his boy and his brother, Tyson. Rico Knows, Joshua Herod. Thank you very much, Joshua Herod. What would you bet KU Illinois? What would you bet KU Illinois? I don't know what that question is. I don't know the spread. I don't know anything about it. I just think the money line for me tells me KU's winning that game. Lewis Henton. Why are the Purdue DBs terrible so far? The only one that was decent was Marquise Wilson from Penn State. No, Martavius Brown, the transfer from Ole Miss, was good in the game. I went back and watched it. Sean McAvoy, he's the transfer. He came over with his coach, right? That's why Ole Miss got 2 transfers in the secondary that's why Purdue got 2 transfers from Ole Miss, is it's their coach, right? Coach Carter is coming over from Ole Miss. But when you get new people, let me tell you what happens here, guys. What people don't understand is Brick Haley is the defensive line coach for Purdue. He's a great coach, but he has no players. Purdue's starting defensive line hit the transfer portal. They lost their head coach in Jeff Brom. Their starting defensive line hit the transfer portal. We're talking about guys going to USC, guys leaving and going to other Power 5 teams. So when you don't have a good rush and you don't have those guys getting that jump off, then this guy has more time to throw. And Purdue ran into Mikey Keene, a great quarterback. He's just 6 feet tall. He's great, guys. Go watch the tape on Mikey Keene. Everything he did at UCF. Remember, he was a true freshman, not supposed to start at UCF. He gets to UCF. He's going to redshirt. Dylan Gabriel's the starting quarterback. Gabriel goes down with injury. Mikey Keene comes off the bench as a true freshman and proceeds to win like 8 of the next 10 games. Something absurd. Mikey Keene is a mother-flipping problem. The only reason he even left UCF is because John Rice Plumlee shows up from Ole Miss, and coaches say, hey, we're going to go with this guy. He's a little taller, a little faster, but Mikey Keene is him. So he's going to make your DBs look silly, especially when you don't have a rush. And Purdue's defensive line leaves a lot to be desired. Now, they got Emba, the JUCO, number one JUCO defensive lineman, Rico. Yeah, I know. He didn't live up to the hype. He went to Auburn last year, didn't play, and then he transferred to Purdue. They got some players at Purdue, but it's not the same. They're missing 3 of their starters. 3 of Purdue's starters are on other teams right now, and they're great. Shout out to Jack. But for them, the Purdue DBs got no help. The greatest thing a defensive back can hope for is they got Charles Haley coming off the corner. Ask Deion Sanders. Played for the Cowboys. Who's coming off the corner? Russell Maryland, Charles Haley. Now you're getting all these picks because those guys cause these quarterbacks to let it go off their back foot. Make the wrong read. Panic and get scared. There's no such thing happening at Purdue right now. They don't have the depth on the defensive line to put that quarterback in peril. And that's why it looks like that. What's your Instagram? Trying to see a film review on Zion Reagan's class of 2024 Oklahoma commit. So still Carrot. I don't have an Instagram. I don't mess with Instagram. No thank you. If you want me to do a film review on a player, send me a DM, send me the huddle link, and be patient. There's 1,000 people, I'm not exaggerating, 1,000 people in front of you. Be patient. It'll happen in about 2 years. Texas State opening at plus 12 underdogs versus UTSA. Thoughts on that? I know it's not Big 10. Yeah, it's not Big 10. You guys are talking about something that I won't talk about today. I talk about Group of 5 on Sundays. So I would have talked about that line on Sundays, and I did. If you want to know what I said, go to the Sunday episode. It's got Group of 5 at the top, and it tells you I'm covering all the review from week 1 every Sunday. Thoughts on McCord, and will he grow? So, will he grow? I don't know if he's done growing. Do you mean mentally? Like, is he going to get better? I don't understand. Will he grow? Has he got a tall dad and mom? Fuck. Look, he checked down a lot to Stover, bro. Receivers are open. He's checking down. You either adapt or die, right? You either get it done or somebody else is going to take your spot. Rico, are you surprised at the carry distribution at Wisconsin? I know Malusi is decent, but I definitely thought Allen was going to be the bell cow and not feed the hot hand. Yeah, Josh Huffman, I think it's just trying to protect Braylon Allen's workload. It's not about feeding the hot hand. Not at all. If they had the game in the bag, they're not going to waste it and get Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen is a back-to-back 1,300-yard rusher. He's not sharing time with Chad. Like, that's not happening. Don't worry about it. J.J. McCarthy had a pretty solid game. Did you notice any legitimate improvement on the tape, or was it just bad competition? Yeah, it was a bit of both. I didn't see any improvement at all. I'm not looking for improvement. I think J.J. McCarthy's just fine. They were in the playoffs with him. I'm not looking for improvement, but I thought it was bad competition for sure. I told you, ECU has a very, very bare cupboard. They got 2 linebackers coming up, Tyquan King and Brad. I forgot the other kid's name from North Carolina A&T. But the transfers coming in, they shouldn't be striking fear in you. There's some HBCU transfers. Shout out to Colorado. What up, Willie Bobo? Hit that like. Rico needs to get paid. Please hit the like button. Remember to order your Want to See a Dead Body t-shirt. Yeah, people keep asking me, Rico, where can we get the merch? Hey, all of my merch, I have my own website. It's ricoknows.org. That's it. Just go to the internet, ricoknows.org, and you can find all the different shirts we have. Want to see a dead body? Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. We got hats, shirts, hoodies. We even got a tote bag. I don't know what that's about. Shout out to Kim. She thinks girls want to go shopping. It's ridiculous. She made a tote bag. But, yeah, you go on there and see everything. We even added colors. People wanted more colors. Babe, what colors did we add? Red, green. Just in time for Christmas. What's up? There's maroon. She added colors because people were saying black, white, and gray is too much. Keep all questions Big 10 related and don't ask a question more than once and hit that like button. Yeah. Hey, I got a question for anybody out there on the Pick'em. We're in the Pick'em. You know, we're top 10 in the world on Pick'em on ESPN right now, guys, if you didn't know. The Rico Knows Pick'em group, we're top 10 in the world. And I haven't seen the week 2 selections up. They won't let me pick them. They said come back later. If anybody else has been able to put in their week 2 selections, let me know. I've not been able to. Thoughts on Northwestern season after the controversy this offseason? Well, they're a terrible team. They're going to have a long season. They didn't improve this offseason. And that's about it, Johnny Ruiz. They need to hire David Shaw. They need to hire Ken Nialomo, the former Navy coach. Those are 2 guys I think they should look into hiring. That's what they need at that school. They need to switch to the triple option and go get some academic dudes. Would you agree that Ohio State was not impressive and the Big Ten as a whole didn't look impressive? J2B, if I had to look at it from a conference perspective, they probably looked like they were the 4th best Power 5 conference. From top to bottom, yeah. They probably looked 4th. Right? First place, Pac-12, undefeated all weekend, most ranked teams. Second place, ACC. Florida State looks amazing. Shout out to Duke. And then you got the Big 12 or the SEC. The SEC should be 3rd. And then you got the Big 12, Big 10, Big 12. Man, it's rough. They probably did look the least impressive. Pac-12 didn't lose a game. Just letting you guys know. Hey, Rico, before the week gets started, I'm loving KU 3.5 over Illinois. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that was the spread. That sounds great. Also, Iowa, under is 36.5. That all sounds great. All 3 of those sound really good. KU at -3 right now, too, so I'm liking it even more. There you go. Yeah, man, that sounds flipping amazing. I don't know the spreads. I don't look that stuff up. I just live my life, bro. I just live my life. The chat just jumped on me. I apologize, guys. There we go. Do you think Nebraska's defense is good enough to keep them in the game against Colorado? Yeah, no. I think their running game will be good enough to keep them in the game, but not really. I just think Colorado's going to score a lot, right? I just got hired for a school newspaper. Rico, I just got hired for a school newspaper at Alabama. I'm going to be covering football mainly, but other sports also. I'm a freshman. What's your one piece of advice? Keep up the great work, man. Okay, so I used to be a sports writer back when I was 18 to 20 years old. I actually worked for an actual newspaper, not the school newspaper. And the one thing I will tell you as a reporter or as a sports writer is take really good notes. Now, technology's changed, so you guys aren't after the game interviewing coaches and scribbling on a pad anymore. Like, you can just tape record it or record it with your phone. Just make a video, right? And then you get the quote right. Getting factual quotes and quoting people correctly will save your ass 100%. The one thing that you can do wrong, Skylar, is when you write a story, if you get the score wrong, a stat wrong, or a quote wrong, you will be put on the carpet. And you don't ever want a retraction because of you, right? So they will start emailing your editor, the publisher, whoever, the minute you're wrong on something. Don't be wrong. That's it. Just be accurate, be detail-oriented, and don't ever interject your opinion unless you're writing a column. Very important. When you write for a newspaper, provide information. Do not write your opinion on things. That they're not asking for that. Careful. Every writer wants to have his front page column. Every writer wants to be able to give his input. Everybody thinks they're a blogger or a vlogger. But when you work for a newspaper, you answer to editors, copy editors, and sports editors. You cannot give your opinion unless you're on a column. Never forget that. That's my advice to you. Just understand the echelons of it. Talk to me about ceilings of Allar versus McCord versus McCarthy. Ceilings, everybody can go to the NFL. That's their ceilings. Everybody's going to the NFL. Give me those picks, partner. Gave them. Rewind the show. Can Penn State win versus Michigan and Ohio State? Yeah, if they play them, then yeah, you have a chance to win. Would you move on from James Franklin? This is the dumbest damn question I've read today. Mark Preston asking me if I would move on from James Franklin. James Franklin just won the damn Rose Bowl last year. What is the goal of every Big 10 team before the year 2015? It's to win the Rose Bowl. If you win the Rose Bowl, you make your university an insane amount of money. You're Rose Bowl champions. You're holding a fucking rose in your mouth. Are you kidding me? Move on from James Franklin. Who are you moving on to? Urban Meyer? Who are you hiring? The dumbest shit I've ever heard people say. You're the third best team in the conference, which is the second biggest conference in America now, or the biggest. You're a top 10 team nationally. You want to fire him? This is the shit Nebraska did. Nebraska moved to the Big 10, and Bo Pelini was pumping out 9-4 seasons, and they fired him. 9-4 seasons, and they fired him, and they've been into purgatory ever since. And they went and hired Callahan and Frost, and they ain't sniffed 9-4 in 8 years. You got a great coach. Stick with him. He's developing players. He's getting people into the NFL draft. Whether they become great pros or not his business. James Franklin is a hell of a coach. Move on from Franklin. I'd move on from fans who don't support a winning coach. You won the damn Rose Bowl. Rico, what up, Zach Allen? Mark Preston, I ain't mad at you, man. I'm just passionate. Let's go, Rico. Ohio State looked pretty rough. What are you seeing to keep them at number 4 in your rankings? Just curious, Rico knows always. Ohio State was number 7 in my rankings, Connor Pond. You're looking at the AP poll. That ain't got shit to do with me. You're looking at coaches poll. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not the AP poll or the coaches. I'm Rico. I put them at 7. Jayhawks, Illinois. Yeah, that game, very intriguing to me. I like the Jayhawks. Hey, Rico, can Nebraska stop the Colorado hype? Yeah, they're playing them. They can stop them. They're playing each other. Good luck. Who is the best Michigan wide receiver? You ask me this every time, Jack Man. I get asked this every single day, and I avoid the question every single day. And that's because I don't think there's a best Michigan wide receiver. I always say that to you guys. You think Iowa is in trouble with Cade possibly being hurt and not being able to run? No, I don't think their whole offense is predicated and based on Cade McNown being able to run. I said Cade McNown? Cade McNamara. Holy smokes. Cade McNown. Hey, man, Cade McNown can't run. He had a handicap pass. That boy's parked in handicap spots for a reason. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you're not on my level. I'm a fucking almanac. I'm done. Sidney Herbert. Michigan is going to have a crazy offense this year. J.J. McCarthy's arm is so good and has progressed so much. All right, well, that crazy offense put up 30 points. There's nothing crazy about 30 points. Has to be Roman Wilson. Here we go. One game and everybody convinced it's Roman Wilson. Keep it up. The high school and college genius himself. Thank you very much, Ben Green. I appreciate you. Good looks on that. What up, Shane? I saw that video Rico Knows started back in the 5th grade. Yep, I started back in the 5th grade. Knowing sports, I started a long time ago. Yeah, a long time ago. Thoughts on Noah Kim's game? Shout out to Noah Kim. If you guys don't know, this is the starting quarterback for Michigan State. I thought he played really well. I thought he controlled the game. He looked good. I don't think they're missing Peyton Thorne at all. I like Noah Kim. I'm cool with him. Rico wrote the script. I am a writer, but I didn't write the script. I don't know what script we're talking about. I just know what I see. I know it sounds crazy to be calling out these plus 800 underdogs, but this is what I'm doing. What do you see Blake Corum finishing the season among running backs within college football this year? He looked crazy good on Saturday. Well, I don't know what you mean. I don't know if you mean by yards, accolades, whatever. He's the starting running back on a very good team in America. They're probably going to be ahead a lot, and they're going to be running out the rock and running out the time on the clock and all this stuff. Like, it's just different. If they're trailing, they pass more. But that's not their offensive scheme. Shout out to Blake Corum. I'm not ever really impressed with Blake Corum as an individual player. Like, I believe it's Drake Nugent. I believe it's the offensive line. I don't think it's Blake Corum individually. He's okay. But if I had tryouts right now for running backs, there's like 20 other running backs I like more than Blake Corum. Literally 20 other running backs I like more than him on other teams. They just don't have the great dominant offensive line. I know you probably answered this question 15 times, but I'm a Clemson student, and I'm worried. Should I be? Yeah, you should be worried, Andy. You're on the wrong day. I only talked Big 10 today. You missed Monday. Record's meant to be broken. Shout out to you, Evan Scott. That's true. Duke 0-13 against the spread against Clemson as a double-digit dog. Like that means something. Dudes are clowns. Yeah, it means nothing to me, Shane. It means nothing to me. Ohio State should be worried this season. Mr. Gimp Show. I wouldn't I wouldn't say they should be worried. I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Day. I've said this all offseason. I think he's been he's Barry Switzer to me. You guys know what I mean by that? Ryan Day is Barry Switzer. Anybody remember Jimmy Johnson winning 2 Super Bowls with the Cowboys? And then Barry Switzer gets hired, and the first year Barry Switzer does nothing. Don't change anything, just rides the wave with all the players and all the team. And they make it to the NFC Championship game, and they lose to Dion and the 49ers and Steve Young, right, and Ricky Waters. They lose to them in 94 in the NFC Championship game. Next season, Barry Switzer changes nothing again, but Dion joins the Cowboys, and they get it done, and they go beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl. But Barry Switzer gets fired eventually because he was not a good coach. He was just riding it out with the players that Jimmy Johnson brought to him and built. Okay? I feel the same way about Ryan Day. I feel like Ryan Day has a lot of recruits and players and success because of Urban Meyer's success. And Urban Meyer put you on a trajectory to be this good. And because he put you at the top of the polls and won that and did all these great things, that's when you got those recruits that you're actually playing with right now. I think Ohio State's entire success is really due to Brian Hartline, the wide receivers coach turned offensive coordinator. I like Brian Hartline's ability to assess talent and identify individuals and get them in the program. But all of this is just the momentum still rolling from Urban Meyer's time at Ohio State, and that momentum's coming to a halt. So should Ohio State be worried about the season? Well, what are your expectations? Are you looking at national title or bust, or are you okay with being a top 3 team in the Big 10? Because that's where I see them, as a top 3 team in the Big 10. What would you be worried about? They're easily a top 3 team in the Big 10. Don't be worried about that. Are you having any doubts about Jeff Sims? I know it's just one game, but those turnovers killed Nebraska. Well, they were playing a good team, and they weren't playing a scrub team. You know, all these other teams were playing group of 5 teams, playing somebody they far out-talented and outperformed. Nebraska was playing a team that goes to bowl games. Nebraska was playing a team in their conference. You know what I'm saying? Nebraska wasn't playing a cakewalk. It wasn't easy. Now, Jeff Sims needs to, do better things with his damn ball decisions. He runs great. He reminds me of Anthony Richardson all day long. I don't understand why Jeff Sims is not being drafted 4th overall. My dude, what up, Frankie Davis? Super senior. Shout out, yeah, super senior. Yeah, he's going to be around for a lot of years. Rico, what did you think of Brady Cook at Missouri this week? Go to Thursday. Thursday, I'll be talking about Missouri. They're in the SEC. Hey, Rico, we need a Michael Jordan is broke shirt, please. Emmanuel Broussard, shout out to you. Making all these shirts is difficult, custom-made shirts, but I appreciate you guys. If you guys didn't know, I told the world Michael Jordan's broke. No one listened to me. Michael Jordan's so broke, he had to sell his team to pay his bills. People are like, you're stupid. He makes $400 million a year. I'm like, I know, but he's got a bill for $500 million. Well, he could pay. No, you can't, bro. Imagine having a credit card for $50,000. Imagine you got a credit card and you're in debt $50,000. And everybody goes, oh, don't worry about that bill. You can pay that bill. $50,000, you can pay that bill. You make $40,000 a year. Do you think anybody making $40,000 a year can pay off a credit card for $50,000? It's impossible, because you got a standard of living, because you got other bills. But you make $40,000 a year. That's how it works with Michael Jordan. He makes $400 million a year, but he's got a bill for $500 million. Can't pay it. That's what people don't understand. So you got to go sell something worth, you got to go sell your house to pay off that bill. Michael Jordan's broke. Nobody believed me. But actions speak louder than words. Rico, good afternoon, Rico. Shout out to you. Hey, what up? Good to see you again, David, in Arizona. See you every day, brother. Bryce Underwood to Michigan. Not really worried about recruiting. Don't care. More power to him. Change his mind. Couldn't roll. Hit the transfer portal. We'll never see the guy play. Look, you guys keep asking me. Listen, you guys watch all those hype films on TikTok, and somebody made a hype film on Alex Orji. Somebody said, Rico, Alex Orji, why is he not in the game? He's so amazing, blah, 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 blah. Shut the hell up. Alex Orji was 5th string last year. I don't care what you guys say in the hype videos. They just won a blowout game. Did he come off the bench in the game? No, he did not. He didn't even play. There's a different guy. Like, you guys don't know, man. We could talk about Alex Orji when he hits the transfer portal. Is Colorado -3 a trap? I don't worry about -3, bro. I don't worry about it at all. When you see odds and spreads moving, that's just in reaction to the money being put on the game. It is not an indication of what they think is going to happen. Listen to what I'm saying. When you put so much money on a team collectively in America, that team will then be the favorite just to protect the house, just to protect the books. Because if they don't make them the favorite and that team wins, then the books lose their ass. So Vegas has metrics in place where if you bet too much money on something, well, then that just makes them the favorite. They don't even care who wins or loses. They have to balance their books. So it's not that it's a trap. I'm telling you, in my assessment, Colorado's a better team. Right off the rip, that's what I'm saying. And I'm living with it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can be wrong 20 times before I hit 50%. Just so we're clear. I can be wrong 20 times until we're 50%. So I don't care. But I'm telling you, I'm not even worried about the spread. I'm taking the money line. Colorado money line, get at me. And I'm walking away. Oh, this was so bad. Thoughts on Maryland? Rewind the show. Vegas is begging people to take Colorado. Just send an email to the administration of Valdosta State about the baseball player. Okay, Berkey, why? The baseball player who was told to cut his hair, there's a lot more to him. Kicked off the team, suspended from the team for a year. He's made a lot of terrible decisions in his life. I think he put his hands on somebody. There's been some domestic violence concerns. I want to say he was kicked off the team for skipping a drug test. Remember, it's not racial when he was told that he couldn't be on the team for his haircut. I showed a picture of a black kid with the same hair. It's just applying standards to people that are varying and not equivalent for everybody. It's not right. It's very individualized for that individual player. He's not a model citizen. He's not. That's why I'm not out here. I'm not a fucking protester, bro. I'm not an advocate with a sign on the street saying free, whoever. I don't do it. You guys stop being SJWs, bro. Stop being social justice warriors. Rico, I sent an email to so-and-so. We got to stop this. No, we don't. The kid's terrible. Fine. But the coach is worse for having varying standards implemented on players. Once he came out and said what he said, he's like, well, I can't have him on the team. Gave the following reasons. I sat there and said, all right. Well, next time, just tell the kid, I don't give a shit how short your hair is. You're a bad person. We don't want you on this team. Just say that next time. Don't sit there and try to blame the hair to justify why he can't be on the team. And another thing, you could all be manipulated, and that kid could have cut his hair after the meeting. But it turns out it was a 20-minute conversation, and he recorded 3 minutes where he acted right and said the right thing. But remember, when there's a recording, the kid knows he's being recorded. He's not going to say anything out of turn. He could hang that up and be like, yo, you ain't shit, and he could start cussing him out. And we never got a tape of that. Don't get manipulated. I don't like it. Stay on sports. Stay on task. Stay on scope. I don't like that shit. Thank you for being here, Berkey, though. I appreciate you. Just watch your rankings. Michigan also didn't have their offensive coordinator, but I respect the placement. Yeah, offense coordinator, head coach, they don't play. Stephen A. said TCU over Colorado. Yeah, Stephen A. is a moron. That's dumb. I've never watched Stephen A., guys. Stephen A., if he's ever on my TV, I change the channel or instant mute. I can't stand his voice. Stephen A. ain't shit to me. I can't stand his voice. He ain't a smooth brother. This dude is the worst. Ain't nothing smooth about him. You know what I hate about Stephen A.? It's the same thing I hate about Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick, Mike and Mike in the Morning, for 20 years of my life, I had to hear about Notre Dame and the Jets every single day because they cared about those two teams, because they're homers for those two teams. Right? Stephen A. Smith's a homer for the Giants, so I got to hear about the Cowboys and the Giants every damn day. Can't stand that shit. Skip Bayless is a homer for, I think he likes LeBron or he hates LeBron. Which one is it? I don't know. I'm tired of hearing it. Talk about anybody else. I talk about 133 FBS level teams. Give a shit. I'm not going to sit here and do a whole show about the SEC, a whole show about Bama or Georgia or USC or Ohio State. I don't do that. I cannot stand people who don't have enough nuance to have an intelligent conversation about everybody. You ever heard Stephen A. Smith try to talk about MMA? It's fucking embarrassing. Stephen A. Smith's like, yo, I don't really know MMA, but I know boxing, and these brothers are throwing. And you'll be like, what are you talking about, bro? They're against the cage, fighting for underhooks, pummeling for underhooks. It's exhausting. Does no grappling. These guys cannot step to me. They don't want any part of me. They don't ever want to meet me. We definitely don't want to be in a studio somewhere. They're reading teleprompters with people in their ear telling them what to say. I'm a monster, bro. I'm taking questions off the cuff for 2 hours straight every night. Just sharpening and refining my skill set. I'm ready for anything. We're on a different level. That's dumb. Read the fine print. Yeah, that deal is insane. Colorado wins by how much against Nebraska? I don't care. Please make sure you hit that like button. It helps, Rico. Yes, it does. Thank you guys so much. It helps pay my bills. Going to ricoknows.org, buying merch. It helps pay my bills. If you want to throw me a tip, thank you very much. It helps pay my bills. I do this for a living, guys. I'm an independent sportscaster. It's different from everybody else. I don't have a brand backing me. Shout out to FanDuel. Shout out to, sports bets, blah, blah, blah. All these people sending me emails and messages. I have so many people in my DMs. I don't know which one's real or not. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to keep rocking. How much are the USC Wendy's commercials worth in NIL? No idea, but Caleb's got them. Know if Chris Parker plays at CMU and scored their only touchdown against MSU, played with him in high school. Not talking group of 5 until Sunday, but thanks for asking. Who can legally advise these young men? Agents talk, can't write. No, so agents can't, but your admissions office can. And for every single player at a college, when you sign an NIL deal, you have 24 hours to notify the school about the NIL deal. That's legally what you're supposed to do. What they need to do is notify their team about the NIL deal before they sign it. That's all they need to do. Stop getting excited and trying to do a back alley deal. Take all the paperwork, go back to the school and say, Coach, I got this deal. Talk to me, bro. That's all you need to do. I'm a mentor. I'm a senior leader in the Army. I'm not with these kids 24/7. They go to the dealership, get the whole damn thing there, and then come in and go, Coach, or go top. First sergeant, I'm trying to buy a house. Can you help me buy a house? I'll be like, yeah, man, let me see what you got. Oh, no, we don't do this shit here. Hold on. You don't need all this. Let's talk. You need to find somebody who's been through it. You need to find somebody who's certified to go through it. They didn't do either. Thoughts on Penn State? I think they're a good program. I think people need to slow down and stop being mad at them for not winning it all. They're fine. Who the hell let him sign that? I bet there was nobody else in the room when he signed it. So no one in his family cared to read the contract. You guys are assuming people have family and structure. Let me be straight. Let me be straight about this. I grew up with my father and my stepmother. Now, look, I come from a very humble upbringing, right? My father had 4 kids at the age of 21, construction worker, hard-working dude. We're not talking about college educated. We didn't have none of that shit. Just a little Mexican dude in Southern California. And my mom was like a little secretary at a newspaper. I don't know. We didn't have money anywhere. And not being able to ask my parents for help with my homework because it's too difficult. Because it was too complex. I didn't have those trifold fucking cardboard things for my science projects. I didn't have any resources. We didn't have colored pencils. Or the Crayola box with 64 crayons and a sharpener. Or the fancy pencils and the sharpener. We didn't have none of that stuff. But we had a home that was conducive to learning because it had 4 walls. Some of these kids don't go home to a structured environment. Some of you people can't relate. You guys went home with parents, were college educated, helped you with your homework, gave you science projects, did things with you, helped you do. Man, come on. You don't think I know who had their mom helping them write essays? So when you guys look at these college kids sometimes and you guys go, why can't they get it right? Why can't they just get it right? Why isn't it more important to them? Why don't they have their priorities straight? Bruh, they would get out of school and they don't have a home to go to learn anything. They're going home to parents who are beating each other. They're going home to their grandmother's house and a different family lives in every room. They got drug-addicted parents. You guys don't understand where they're coming from. These are not all middle class. This is not it. You can't go home and be like, well, why wasn't his family reading the contract? They got motherfuckers can't read, bro. I come from a family where, you know what we call each other? If you went to college, at family gatherings, you're known as stupid college boy. Because my cousins say stuff like, órale, güey, ¿sabes qué, güey? Let's throw some chingazos. That's how I grew up. Now, I joined the military. I got my one-way ticket out the hood. I made it off the block. I decided, man, I'm not going to talk like that. I'm not going to talk like that anymore. I'm going to get educated. And it took me a hell of a long time. I was 37 years old when I earned my bachelor's degree. But I did it. But I'm somebody. You guys don't know. When you say stuff like this, I know you come from privilege. I know you come from a life, and I'm not saying you got a silver spoon, and I'm not saying you didn't have to work for yours. But when you think working for yours is way different from me. Like, you think, we worked hard our whole lives, guys. My dad owned a business my whole life, and we had to work at that business. Bro, what are you talking about? My father worked construction. I shit you not. My father worked construction. One Friday, he went to cash his check that he got from his boss, and the check bounced. We had no money for the weekend, no food, and we were living paycheck to paycheck. I remember going to the bank. My pops went to this bank. It was next to the high school. It was like some made-up bank. It wasn't even a real bank. It was weird, and it was off on the side, and he went over there. There's a Carl's Jr. and a Sizzler there now, but there was a bank next to that shit, and he went over there, and I'm telling you, the check bounced. My pops worked his ass off all week in 100-degree heat as a finished carpenter, and his employer didn't have enough money to pay him. Who do you get your money from? You're just a little kid looking around like, what are we going to do? You guys think these kids come from structured environments? These kids come from homes that don't know what the clearinghouse is. They don't know what the eligibility center is. I'm not saying, it's like when rappers sign a deal and everybody goes, well, why'd he sign that deal? He didn't read the fine print. Motherfuckers can't read. Give me my bands. Give me my stacks. I'm going to the club and making it rain. It's just a different demographic and a different level of priorities. And I wish you guys could relate, but if you can't relate and you never lived in that life, you don't know. And this is why I'm so blessed. And this is why I love my father. This is why I love my family. It's because we come from nothing and we became something. And I look at my pops and I'm like, yo, you know what this man did to get a house for us? He borrowed money from his boss. And then he worked every weekend until he paid it off. Every Saturday, I didn't understand why we were going with my dad to job sites, carrying off air compressors and nail guns and getting hammers, and we're going into a house. And all you guys drive by those new neighborhoods and go, man, those Mexicans sure work hard. They never take a day off. Look at those Mexicans still swinging the hammer. Oh, my goodness. You hear the air compressor going? Man, they're really going. They're playing that banda music again. And it's us, 9 years old, in there shooting damn closets in. You don't know what these players are living in. You don't know where they're coming up. But I'll tell you what, it ain't the lifestyle in the house you're thinking of. So, no one in their family cared to read that contract. I'm an adult now. I've purchased 5 homes in my life. I've purchased 5 homes. I think I'm pretty damn successful. And every now and then, I don't read the fine print correctly. Every now and then, I look at it and go, damn, they got me. But you know what I would never do? Ask my parents to read it. I don't have the family attorney to look it over. Let me get with my accountant and we'll look it over. Let me get with my attorney. I got a really good friend who's an accountant and knows all about this. My bad. If you can't relate to what I'm saying, we come from different walks of life. Don't get it twisted. I'm successful and I'm blessed. But when I look at these young men in college, I never assume they have a structured upbringing and they have any semblance of priorities. Education comes first. No. I can remember Let me tell you, the pinnacle of most of these kids' lives is high school graduation. Have you ever seen the way the underprivileged celebrate high school graduations? Moms and dads dress up like they're going to the club. My daughter just graduated high school this past June, right? I went to the graduation, and it was another day for me because I'm looking at my daughter. I'm putting her through school. She's going to college. It's just another day to me. I remember this vividly. I had $600 in my pocket. I'm going to give my daughter her graduation gift. $600 ain't nothing to me. I got you. I'm giving it to my kid. Go have fun. Go hit up Disney World. I don't give a shit what you do with it. I got you. But when I got to the celebration and I got in there, do you understand that I could recognize which families felt like their child reached the pinnacle of their life? Which families were praising these kids for reaching high school graduation? Like it's the greatest thing they're ever going to achieve in their life. That's where we come from. There ain't no college. They didn't talk to a guidance counselor. So when you're a great athlete and you get a full ride and you finally get qualified, that's it. They don't know what comes next. I got 2 teenage parents, bro. My parents were 21 and 20, and they had 4 kids and were divorced. Y'all don't know that walk of life. These kids got just as bad, if not worse, support systems. We can't expect them to make the right decisions. Not everybody's going to be me. Not everybody has the innate ability to figure it out. And this is why when they get in front of a camera and in front of a mic, you guys hear them talk, and you guys go, what the hell is he saying? Whole different walk of life, bro. Whole different walk of life. Shout out to my pops, man. I ain't hating on my pops at all. I love my dad to death. He's always, hey guys, I want to tell you guys something. My father watches my show every single day. My father, and I play a song every single day to start my show. And it's called I Do It by Abstract. I Do It. And the first lyrics are, I do it for my father. Because he didn't teach me much about my intellect level, but he taught me work ethic. Obviously taught me ethics, right from wrong. And I knew to emulate somebody who can just overachieve and become great. He's great at everything he does. Best DJ I know, best carpenter I know. But look, man, I got a father figure in my life. These kids don't even have that. These kids don't have that example to follow, to emulate. They're trying to obtain generational wealth overnight to make it out of something. And they don't understand investments. They don't understand equity and passive income. They don't have any financial literacy. And neither did I. Before I became who I am today, I joined the Army, and the very first decision I ever made in the Army was, you ain't taking that $100 out of my check. You ain't taking that $100 out of my check. They sat me down and they said, Mr. Rico, we would like to take $100 out of your check for the first 12 months. And I said, what? $100? You ain't getting me. I need that 100 because I'm trying to go to the club. I got an $80 bar tab. You ain't taking my 100. They said, but it's for the GI Bill. It'll pay for your college education. You get a free college education if you pay $100 a month. I said, dude, I ain't going to college. I don't need that. I got a job. I'm in the Army. I don't need a degree. I got a job. I'm good. 4 years later, I'm talking to my sergeant major, and he's like, well, if you want to get promoted, you got to have a bachelor's degree. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to go to college? I go to the Ed Center. I'm like, let me sign up for college real quick. And they're like, you don't have a GI Bill. You didn't give your $100 a month for your first 12 months. I said, what? And thank goodness they created the post 9/11 GI Bill because I joined the Army at a time of war. I ended up getting my GI Bill back. Thank goodness. But I made an idiot mistake as a young man, as an 18-year-old, uninformed, dare I say ignorant, but it's because of where I came from. It's because of my lack of structure and understanding how the importance of it. You wouldn't know that today. I'm a damn genius. But there's a lot of people like me in the hood. Sorry. Let me get back to the chat. This Prodigy here says, thanks for the Riley pick last night. Prodigy, thank you so much for the tip. If you guys don't know, on TikTok, Prodigy just came into YouTube, tipped me $20. I appreciate you, brother. I saw another tip in there. I'm going to go try to find it in the chat. I apologize. Let me get to it, guys. I want to give a shout out to anybody tipping me. Message deleted by Kim. Somebody else tipped me $5. I don't know who that was. Oh, that was that bullshit? Yeah. I apologize. Let me get back to it. Robert Martin tipped me $9 and tipped me $10. He says, Rico, I took the spread last night. Thanks, bro. Hey, guys, listen. If I give you a call, shout out to Carson, had Rutgers improved, or is Northwestern just that bad? Northwestern's just that bad, and Rutgers has improved. Shout out to you, Carson. If I give you a tip and tell you guys what to win, if you ever win on anything I ever tell you, join my YouTube and drop me some change. I'm just saying, if you got kids to feed, I understand. Don't do it. But I'm here. I'm here for it. Hey, Rico, we need a Michael Jordan is broke shirt, please. Emmanuel Broussard threw me $5. Kim will get on it. Kim is the person who creates all my merchandise. Shout out to her. Let me get back to the chat. It's super long. I got long-winded on something that I was very passionate about. I apologize. Shout out to everybody for being here tonight. We got 200 people on TikTok. We got 130. We got over 300 people here tonight. You guys are awesome. Let's keep it going. You guys make my life possible. Let's go back to the chat here. Thoughts on Penn State? Talked about it. Rewind the show. Bro needs a better support system. Most definitely. Everybody does. Thoughts on Maryland? I really believe in Maryland. Dark horse in the Big 10. I like him. All his family seen was the money. I don't think his family was involved in it at all. I'm a mechanic. I sure do. I bet when he – mechanics will be ripping you off, y'all. I bet when and if he goes pro, he will go broke. Well, he's already pro. He's a second-round draft pick. So – he just went rich. Wait for him to go broke. I don't wish that upon anybody. What? 19.6. Yes, 19.6 APR. Yeah, and she thought she got a deal. Heard of it, never seen one. Yep. Thoughts on Penn State? Already talked about it. Rewind the show. Colorado prediction and also why some guys got the same number. Blake Moans, Colorado will be talked about on Friday. Why do some guys have the same number? Because it's a recruiting mechanism to get players to come join you. You can have one on offense, one on defense. I don't agree with it. I'm giving guys a different number. We don't need any penalties. Right? Shout out to who got the penalty? Who blew it? Yeah, Florida. Thoughts on Kansas versus Illinois? I already talked about it. Rewind the show. I thought that was a football show. Don't know what you're talking about. Colorado-Nebraska score prediction. That's another day. Although Nebraska's in the Big 10, so let me talk about it. I think Nebraska loses. I don't have a score prediction. Thoughts on Kansas versus Illinois? Rewind the show. Colorado only 3.5. Sounds like free money. Go get it. Thoughts on Vandy versus Wake Forest? That was talked about yesterday, Emmanuel Gutierrez. Go watch the ACC show or come back Thursday and I'll talk about it. FSU wins it all. Shout out to Aaron Nolan. Looked bad in his first couple of games this year. Jaden Davis is looking like the better commit. Yeah, I've never really been sold on Aaron Nolan, and it's the same thing I have an issue with C.J. Stroud. Aaron Nolan plays at Langston Hughes High School here in Georgia. I've seen him play for the last 2 years now. But what I know about Aaron Nolan and Hughes is they have so many great players, it's hard to assess you individually because – all your teammates are better than everybody across the ball from you, right? So you had Thurman at tight end last year. You've got great wide receivers everywhere. You just have a better team. So when push comes to shove, I don't know how good you are. Same thing with Bryce Young. Bryce Young inherited all this greatness. Bryce Young was at Mater Dei, the best team in America, all through high school. Goes to Alabama, one of the best teams in the country. I've never seen Bryce Young put a team on his back and actually be the only guy out there that can ball. We're going to find out. He's on Carolina, and not everybody's better than everybody else. What went wrong with Frank Harris this week? What can he do to improve moving forward? He's obviously still a stud. Yeah, I talked about it on Sunday. Go watch Sunday's show or come back and ask me on Sunday. That's a group of 5 player. I only talk to them on Sunday. Big 10 over the SEC. Okay, shout out to you. Rico Knows is here to stay. I love it. Thank you. Tyler, IP sitting down. Okay. Opinion on Kyle McCord. Talked about it. Rewind the show. He's fine. Tulia, breakout. He's been around for a while. He doesn't need a breakout. If you were the IU athletic director, would you keep Tom Allen or is it time to look elsewhere? Let them see. They played well against Ohio State. So let's see what happens this year. Tom Allen had about 33 transfers and recruits last year, and this year he did well in the transfer portal again. So let's see if he can actually build a culture and rapport and get better with his players. But I put Tom Allen on the hot seat before the season started, and I'm prepared to fire him at any time. But last week's performance was not a fireable offense at all. They look good for them. So I wouldn't fire him right now. Time for Big 10 and Big 12 to schedule 7 conference games and then add teams like Tony. Dixie State is not a university anymore. They changed their name to Utah Tech. Dixie State does not exist. And Texas A&M, Kingsville off their schedule. But thank you for writing it out there. Big 10 is trash this year. I don't really see anyone who stood out week 1. That's crazy talk, Sam Walker. Hola, Rico. What up, Swamp? That's a terrible take. Blake Corum looked crazy and JJ as well. I don't think anybody looked crazy. Nebraska doesn't have the horses to stay with Colorado. Is way too low. Stop calling men horses. But I hear you. Edwards. Corum is coming off an injury, right? Might have been not fully recovered. Well, then don't play. Marvin Harrison was horrible, was terrible, couldn't get open. I think he was open. They couldn't get the ball to him. But that's the life of a receiver. Rico's absolutely right. Michigan couldn't even dominate. Thank you, Marlo. I'm always right. Luke Nickel is a dog, goes to my school. In his offseason, he was working, great work ethic. Yeah, I just covered Luke Nickel. If you guys don't know, he's a quarterback from Milton here in Georgia, 7A. Good football player, committed to Miami, 3-star kid. Is Braylon Allen and Chaz the best running back duo in the Big 10, and where do they rank in terms of the best in the country? So, no, there's 3 really good duos in the Big 10, and in the country, I had them outside of my top 10. Obviously, Houston changed, but they probably 10th in the country. But, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I love Braylon Allen, by the way. Edwards and Corum clears that duo. Thank you, Brewski. Nebraska better be in shape in the altitude or the game will be over by half. No, I think they're going to slow it down. I think they're going to slow it down on offense. Nebraska's defense is inflated due to Minnesota's lack of production. This is coming from a Nebraska fan. I don't understand when people write that. And this is coming from a Nebraska fan. And this is coming from a so-and-so fan. I don't give a shit who you're a fan of. Is your take coherent, accurate, or would you normally tell me a lie because you're a fan of a team? I don't get that. I think Georgia's really good, and I'm a Bama fan. I would never say something positive about them. Well, then you would never be honest and be accurate. It doesn't make sense when people write that. I don't understand that. But shout out to you, Mike Diaz. Thanks for being a Nebraska fan. Iowa's offensive coordinator has to average 25 points per game to keep his job in his contract. I'm aware of it, but Brian is the son of the head coach. They're not going to terminate that kid unless the wheels fall off. Didn't Khalil Mack and Beast Mode go to Buffalo? Khalil Mack definitely did. I don't know who Beast Mode is. Wisconsin needed to target C.J. Williams more. I agree, Triglass, and I love C.J. Williams. We'll see what happens. Blake coming off injury, 70-plus yards, better than any back in the Big 10, and it's not close. Sidney Herbert, that is a ridiculous statement. There are tons of backs in the Big 10, and it's very close. Okay? There are a lot of backs that could go into that Michigan offense and rush for just as many, if not more yards than Blake Corum. Don't you forget it. I'm being so serious. Singleton, Corum, Allard, McCarthy. I'm late. Who and what was said about lackluster Ohio State? Rewind the show. You guys, if you show up late, just rewind the show, put it at 1.25 playback speed, and just watch it, and you'll catch up to us eventually. Does Nebraska stand a chance this week? They're on the field. They stand a chance. Do you think Maryland can compete with the bigger teams in the Big 10? I do, Braden. I believe in them, Braden. Why did Illinois get a new defensive coordinator? Last year their defense was pretty decent. Did the coach get a better offer? Yeah. Illinois' defensive coordinator is Ryan Walters. He was the defensive coordinator of the year for the entire country, and then he got hired to be the new head coach at Purdue. So, yeah, he got a better job offer. He didn't just take the job alone, though. He took his linebackers coach with him, and he made him the defensive coordinator at Purdue. He got everybody, hey, once I get a job, I'm bringing everybody with me. It's like me, man. When they put me on and they start telling me, Rico, we want you in the studio. We're going to provide you with a producer. We're going to provide you with a graphics guy and a this guy and a that guy. I'm bringing some people with me, bro. Trust me. My pops is going to be my security. Pops is going to be security, just sitting there with a flashlight. Want to know what you're trying to do? You trying to get in the studio? I'm bringing my people with me, just like anybody else would. Bring your people on, bro. That's all I'm saying. He did that. So he took a lot of people from Illinois. Can you give your Big 10 rankings? Sure. I've never done that. But let's try to do it off the top. Give me a second here. Obviously, Northwestern's at the bottom. Who are the Big 10 teams? It was a joke, but nobody laughed. So, Big 10. Where are you at? Am I missing? There it is. Big Ten. Collectively, the worst team in the Big Ten is Northwestern, right? Then next, I would say Indiana. Next is probably, for me, it's probably Illinois, Rutgers, Minnesota. No, I'm sorry, Purdue, then Minnesota. I don't think very highly of Illinois, just so you guys know. I'm not sold on them at all. And then as we get up, we get Michigan State, Iowa. Who's left? Nebraska was supposed to be below some of these teams. It doesn't matter. At the top, I think Michigan is the best. Ohio State, Ohio State, Penn State, Wisconsin. Those are my top 4. And then behind them, I have Maryland, Iowa, and Minnesota all fighting for, that 5th spot. That's how I feel about the Big Ten. Sorry for doing it all wrong and backwards. Doing it off the cuff like that is problematic for me. I apologize. I never like to be inaccurate. Sorry about that. Back to what I was saying. Gabe Irving is the starter at running back. Gabe Irving Jr., the starting running back for Nebraska, Buford's finest. He was a Buford running back, and he was good back then. He really was. But he did fumble. Or no, he didn't. He didn't fumble, huh? He did well. They just need to give him the ball more. Juju should help. He is the new linebacker from Arizona. Nebraska looked bad. They are a few years away. Seems like Rule usually turns it around year 2. Yeah, I don't think they look bad. I thought they looked very competitive with one of the better teams in the conference. I think we're misunderstanding what bad looks like. Bad is Northwestern, okay? Bad is Northwestern. Nebraska did not look hapless. Their defense looked great. They shut down any semblance of offense from Minnesota, and Minnesota's like a bowl team. So Nebraska did not look bad. Not in my assessment at all. Remember, Nebraska beat Iowa last game of the season last year. Beast Mode went to California. Oh, you're talking about Beast Mode? Like you're talking about Marshawn Lynch? Yeah, he went to Cal. Just joined now, so sorry if you answered this already. What is your view on Northwestern Wildcats this season? All shit went down. Rewind the show. Spread 2, Northwestern Wildcats, still bottom of the season. Yeah, they're terrible. What bowl does Tulane get in if they win out? If they win out, they have a good enough schedule. If they win out, they get in the playoffs, bro. If Tulane goes undefeated, they're in the playoffs. What's up, Rico? Longtime fan over at TikTok. Oh, shout out to you, Ho Jeezy. What up, man? I appreciate you for being here. For me to make a living doing this, I need everybody to move from TikTok to YouTube. YouTube pays me more pound for pound. I know I have a huge movement in TikTok, and it's easier to watch me on TikTok. But for me to do this for a living, I need everybody to transition to YouTube. So thank you for coming over. Thoughts on Washington versus Tulsa with the new quarterback I missed yesterday? We will talk about Washington on Friday, and Tulsa, I talk about them on Sunday. So come back Friday or Sunday with that question. Dexter got fleeced harder than SMU on media rights. Hey, this is true, Seth. Hit the like button. Come on, guys. Thank you very much. What are the chances of Wisconsin versus Penn State Big 10 championship? The chances are there. I don't know, 50-50. Like, I don't know. I can't do math in my head like that. You think Illinois should utilize Josh McCray more? I don't care what Illinois does. I don't care. Thoughts on Noah Kim's performance? I already talked about it. Rewind the show. Will Sanders throw for over 300 yards. Yeah, that's the offense. That's the offense. I mean, he better. I know it's Big Ten Day, but do you have any thoughts on Chris Parker? He plays for CMU. Bro, if you know it's Big Ten Day, then what are you doing? How much trouble is Iowa in if Cade can't move like normal for the year? Oh, they'll be fine. It's hard to score on them. They'll be fine. They'll make every game really boring. Their quarterbacks last year were atrocious, and they won 7 games. The worst quarterback play ever. Go look at the stats from last season. It's gross. Alex Padilla? Are you kidding me? You guys don't even know how bad Iowa's quarterback play was. It's something you've never messed with. Look at this. I'm going to pull it up for y'all. It doesn't matter how bad they play. They cannot be this bad. Deacon Hill, the transfer from Wisconsin, he'll play better than these guys. Look at these completion percentages. Nobody's over 60%. Alex Padilla is 48%. He's a nightmare. He's the one who transferred to SMU. But these guys threw for a total of 2,000 yards last year. If you were a quarterback and you had their total stat line, you'd be one of the worst I've ever seen. They threw 7 passing touchdowns all year. 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Nobody did. I mean, they're just the worst. 38 sacks? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Cade can play or not. They'll never be this bad. And they still won 7 games. So is Iowa really worried? I mean, they're atrocious. And they're still just fine. You think Notre Dame beats Ohio State? No, I don't have Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame losing 4 games in a row. I put that out on a video. I'll go find it. I have like this spreadsheet thing here for my shows. Let me show you something. Oh, it's not here. I have another spreadsheet. File open. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's on the Colorado team's page here. You see this down here? I don't know if you guys can see this. But down here at the very bottom, I keep my notes. And on one of my notes, on one of these days, I did a live show. So this is all the notes of the people I talked about. And in here, I made like a SWAC prediction. I said FAMU's going to win the SWAC. I'll go back and see what I said about that, right? So my I Am Right videos, I always have my receipts. And here I said Notre Dame football, 4 losses in a row. There it is. So I have this episode on 6/19. Back on the 19th of June, I said they're going to lose 4 games in a row. And when they start losing all their games to Duke, to Ohio State, I think it was Louisville. It might be Louisville. I don't remember who it was. But I said 4 games in a row. I'm going to go back and cash in on that when I hit it. That's why I am who I am. I take notes, and you can't mess with me. I'm a dangerous SOB, bruh. I said it in the show just like this. I don't think Notre Dame beats Ohio State. Where do we buy your college football picks? I don't sell them, Jack Fisher. We've discussed it. People want me to start a Discord and charge like $50 for my picks every week. I'm here to give it to you guys for free for this season. I'm here to give it to you guys for free this season. But I'm not going to give you 20 picks again. Everybody hit on everything and everybody's rich. Y'all didn't give me enough. Bro, do you think Cade Klubnik is packing? The hell are you talking about? Thoughts on Jack Henderson, safety nickel that transferred. How about this? Thoughts on Jack Henderson. Cole Mayett. Cole Mayett. Give me a second here. I love the question. It's so incredible. So sometimes you guys come into this chat and you ask me all the same questions every single day. And then every now and then somebody will ask me a really awesome question. And in this case, Mr. Stillers, give me a second. I got to kill this.
Please stop tagging me on me.
That shit started going. Give me a second here. My computer's acting up, but I want to pull something up on the other screen. Hashtag Rico Knows. And he asked me about a guy named Jack. This is pretty cool. And when I'm going through, I was talking about it. Where is he? Where's Jack? Oh, man. I was hoping I could pull it up right away. If I can, I'll have to abort. But I've made a video on Jack already. That's so cool that you asked me about him, though. I've made a video on Jack. I just can't find it right away. It'll probably take me about 10 or 15 minutes to track it down. But I'm glad you asked. So he's a hard-hitting safety transferred in from the FCS, from the Lions. You know, I don't see it. Damn it. I'll find it, though. I'll find it. But, sorry about that. Let me go back to the chat. Chat just disappeared on me. This is not good. Okay, it's back. But, yeah, he's a good player. Hits hard. His highlight tape was amped. Like, I went and looked for plays just for him. But I also know that he was practicing every day with Gage Larvadine over at Southeastern and with Zy Alexander. They just had a ton of studs at that school. So those Lions look good. Give me a second here. Chat went away. Chat went away, sweetie. I apologize. I'm sorry, guys. All I have for chat now is what NIL deal. Rico Rants W. Thank you very much. Yo, serious question. So when do you think people decide to make that change like you did? What do you think about the first round picks and tons? The change to become better? Rico, you're the man. Deadass, love the energy and stories. Okay. Sorry, guys. I went off on a tangent tonight. We went pretty long. Shows usually end by 7. There is some chat here, but I can't go all the way back. Sucks. I don't want to use anything. I'm good. I'm just checking all the chat to see what these guys are asking. Give me a second. Here's what I'll say, though. And I hate to get so personal with you guys sometimes, but I know you guys enjoy stories, rants, and talkbacks. Some guys are here for the picks. Shut up, give me the picks. This, that, or the other. Here's what I'm going to say to you guys. I think people are only as good as they're capable of being. And some people aren't capable of being great. Like, we're not all created equal. We're not. I know you read that in a small book somewhere, or somebody tried to convince you of that, but we are not all equal. Some people are innately better than you. They're just born better than you. They have better skill sets. Like, let me give you an example. We all have certain levels of resiliency. Like, some of us are really resilient, meaning you can bounce back from failure. And then some people aren't resilient at all. We have a baseline amount of resiliency, and it varies into certain levels. So you'll see somebody emotionally break down and not being able to recover. You'll see a homeless guy get drunk and drink like crazy and never be able to bounce back. You'll see an athlete get injured and not be hell-bent to recover from their injury and get back on the field and make something of themselves. They'll tear an ACL and not do any of the recovery. They'll just say they lost a step and quit. I need everybody to understand that I don't think everybody has that epiphany in that moment in their life when they're supposed to be better. They don't all sit there and say, oh man, I'm going to be great. But I know for me, rock bottom for me and saying I want to be somebody was when I was paying, $30,000 a year in child support. And I was renting out a 10 by 10 room off Craigslist. I was 29 years old, maybe 30. I was divorced with 4 kids, and I was renting rooms off Craigslist. I was living with elderly ladies in a 10 by 10 room in the back of their house. And I would come in through a side door. I rented that one room for $400 a month so I could pay my child support and still survive. And I was still going out, meeting women, womanizing, whatever I was doing. And I hadn't failed enough in life to even recognize that I was nowhere near where I was supposed to be. Right? I can remember doing my budget one day, and I looked, and I just saw I was in the red. Let's just say I saw I was in the red. I knew I didn't make enough money to live the life I was living. So what I did was I went and got a credit card. Today I don't have a credit card. I haven't had one in 8 years. But I went and got a credit card, and I said, this credit card is for food and food only. It had a $50,000 limit. Mind you, at this time, I was a very senior staff sergeant or a sergeant first class. So I'm a senior enlisted member in the Army. I probably make something like $6,000, $7,000 a month. There's no reason I should be broke if I just live within my means. But I was mad at the world. I was mad at the judge who said I owed $2,000 a month in child support. I was mad that I only had so much money left over. Or I was driving a Chevy Malibu. So I would just go to the club. I'm a great dancer. I could talk to women. I'm cool. I'm confident. I'm funny. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm educated. I look good. I got muscles. I work out. I'm gifted, bro. I'm going out. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm finding a different club to go to every day. And it didn't hit me that I'm not living right, that I'm doing the worst thing. And I look back on that sometimes, and it's crazy because I'll be sitting there at the house, and I'll look at Kim and be like, you want to go out? You know what I mean by go out? Let's go get something to eat real quick and come back home. I don't even live that life. I'm not even motivated by the same vices. I can walk past the strip club, and if I smell the perfume, I want to leave. I can't even walk past the door. Okay? I can't do it. When I was a kid, I wanted to be in there. When I say a kid, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I wanted to be in there because every girl in there wanted me. Because I could get everything for free. Because I didn't have to pay for lap dances. Or I could get the girl's number and actually meet her after the club or take her home. I was infatuated and enamored with a certain lifestyle that wasn't conducive to success professionally. I can't even blame these athletes for the level of temptation and just access you get to women, maybe drugs, alcohol. You know, I've never done a drug in my life. I want to be clear. But just the level of things that you get access to, why am I going to sit here and say these kids can't do these things? I'm going to tell you I'm not surprised at all. But you grow up and you change your priorities at some point. At least I hope you do. I think what did it for me was actually realizing, remember that credit card I'm telling you about? I just kept swiping it for food with no intention of ever paying it off. I shit you not. I said, once my kids are grown, that $2,000 a month, I'll pay it towards the credit card. But I got 10 years before they're grown. I don't care. I did the math. I can do this for 10 years. And I started swiping that card. And that minimum payment started coming up. And it was like $80, $200, $400. And then all of a sudden, I'm paying $500 a month on a credit card at a minimum payment. It said if I make 383 payments, it will be paid off. Because everything's going to interest and not the principal. Obviously, I'm much better now in life. I fixed everything. And the only thing I had going for me was I had consistent income. I had a job. And I could only imagine what it would be like if I didn't have the job I have. If I didn't have the career that I have. I could only imagine where I would be and how terrible my life would be. So when I see professional athletes go down that same path at the same age I was, right? Their football careers come to an end, their income goes away, and now they're finally realizing that lifestyle they've been living isn't conducive to success. I can't judge them. I can relate, and I hope they get better. I hope they become something. But you got to remember, what skill set do you have to offer the world? I see so many football players, when they're done playing, they just go back to their hometown and they offer a football camp. Is that the one skill set you have in this world? Is to offer a football camp to your community? That's a pyramid scheme. You're just trying to take money from the kids. And the next camp you have, you need more money from other kids and other kids and other parents and other parents. That's not what it is. That's not how you make it. You don't go back to your community and take money from your people. I never went back home. I didn't go back home for 20 years. I didn't go back home for 20 years. I wanted to make sure the next time I go home, I'm more successful than everybody could ever imagine. And that's real. So, I don't know when these kids are going to get it, but I can tell you when I got it. And it's when I became successful. It's when I achieved all my dreams. And we're on a new path. We're on a new career. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for the heartfelt question. Thank you for the direct question. I know a lot of the show was about my frustration with somebody not understanding the plight of some of these athletes. I just want you guys to understand. They didn't grow up in a home where they can do their homework. They didn't grow up in a home where other people advise them accurately. They grew up emulating rap artists. They grew up on the block. They grew up with people, and that's what we know. That's where we come from. Okay? When I was in middle school and a teenager, I wanted to wear my father's clothes. He used to have these dogs. Remember when the dogs were on the shirts and they would like play pool and they would do things? You remember those shirts, babe? What were they called? Like those dog shirts? I forgot what the company was. But it was all based off of Snoop Dogg, right? His album and all the dog shit. And you had dogs doing Red Dog. Maybe it was Mad Dog, Red Dog, some beer shit. I wanted to wear all these shirts. And I wanted the chains. I wanted to look sweet. Man, I'd borrow his watch. He had these watches. I would wear these watches. I would spray his cologne. I would go out. I'm fucking 12, 13 years old, bro. What am I doing? What am I doing? And now as an adult, bro, ask him. Do I own a watch? Do I own any jewelry? No, but I'll tell you what. I went to the bank today, and when I walked in the bank today, one of the employees from out in the back of the office, he yelled my name. Came out the back and said, Mr. Rico, hey, Rico, how's it going? Kim looked shocked. This is the first time Kim's been to the bank with me today. Kim looked and was like, what the hell? Yeah, they know my name. It's a little different around here nowadays. So, shout out to everybody. I hope your life is whatever you plan for it to be. Remember, sometimes things don't go to plan. They go a little better. And that's exactly what we're doing here. I want to be at 200,000 followers by the end of this football season. 200,000 followers by the end of this football season. That gives me 1,000 a day because we had 100,000 followers on the first day of the football season. Oh, by the way, we're blowing that shit out the water. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had won it off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killer rappers, then I hit my quota. And my train of thought is more a locomotive, talking reason for it, I got locomotive. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit, I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist, try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exist. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, green, green. I'm about to go green, green, green. I'm about to go green.